Question of the day. Do you have faith in the new government on improving professionalism within the real estate sector? Do you have faith in the new government as far as professionalism is concerned within the real estate sector? Let us know on K24 TV across all socials, and of course right there on your screen is our WhatsApp number. And helping me have this conversation today is the CEO of Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, George Mburu. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you very much.
Uko salama?
Fine. Kabisa.
Yes, we were hoping to have Ken Wamburu of Imaraland, but he tells me that he's caught elsewhere, so we'll just have to have this conversation, you and I.
Sure.
So let me start by just, going through Mizizi Homes Africa. What are you guys all about?
Yeah, thank you very much, and it's a great honor to be
Karibu
here.
sana.
And we appreciate. Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, we have been in that sphere of affordable housing. We have been talking about affordable housing, and now we are very happy that the government is also talking what we have been talking. And we have said that we as Mizizi Africa Homes Limited would like to be taken as a pilot company that is doing affordable housing, and we have our successes and we have our challenges which the government is now coming to also start addressing. And for sure we are very excited because affordable housing was one of the big four agendas, as you have mentioned, in the Jubilee administration. And even these other agendas, they were attached to each other. You find housing, when you're talking about housing, you're also talking about employment, because people who are working in these houses are people who are working. It also touches about food, because when you're talking about agriculture, this is food that needs to be eaten by people. And again, when you're talking about security,
yes,
when people have jobs, people are working, they have jobs, the issue of insecurity also reduces. And now the issue of healthcare also, which was one of the big four agendas, place in place, because people are working,
yes,
they are able to pay for their hospital bills, they are able to take care of their children, take care of their health. So affordable housing is one very crucial agenda which cannot be left aside. It is something that we have ignored over a long period of time,
yes,
and it has led to a very big deficit for homes and decent homes and affordable housing. But now we need, now since we have started and the government is speaking and speaking loudly,
yes,
we need to move with speed so that we can make up for the lost time. Already we have so much lost time.
Yes.
We make up for the lost time, and we increase the speed so that we have people having affordable homes, because with affordable homes we know the peace of mind that you get.
Yeah.
We are able to create our country. When people are not scared at the end of the month, they are looking at the landlord. People
yes,
have always been so scared of landlord. You get a job, even before you concentrate on the job, you are concentrating on at the end of the month. People have that fear. At the end of the month, landlord, and you know when you have not paid rent, for sure you cannot even concentrate.
It's a problem. Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
So it is an amazing conversation.
You have said, make up for lost time.
Sure.
What exactly do you mean make up for lost time? Yeah. Where was this time lost?
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. The lost time is because housing has been neglected, and affordable housing, for that matter, has not been one of the priorities in the previous regimes.
Okay.
You look at since the 1980s, the issue of affordable housing has not been a topic that has been in the forefront. The people who have been playing it are mostly the private developers and the people who are in private capacity, and you find that because of the challenges that are there and the government not supporting it fully, you find that somebody comes and gets in that sector. They work to help many people, but because of the challenges that are there, after they have also made their own footing and they have their own money, they actually abandon the whole thing, and they now concentrate on being landlords.
Okay.
Because landlords, they have made good money.
Yes.
And you get yourself in that affordable housing, and you are trying to help so many people.
Yeah.
But you are faced with so many challenges. Eventually, most people have abandoned it, and they have concentrated on constructing their own houses.
Yes.
And that is why you find actually most of the people who are there in the previous governments, big ministers,
yep,
they were, first of all, they started by constructing for people. A good example is Kirema.
Yes.
who is a very renowned former cabinet minister. He was involved in constructing for people real estates. Then by so doing, he got himself in government. He has so many land, and he has done so well in the real estate sector.
Right.
But you find because of the challenges, somebody is trying to divert from concentrating to help the masses. You concentrate on having your own estate which you can manage, and by so doing, you do not have so much pressure.
Yes.
You do not have so much stress. But now, since the government is taking the forefront and encouraging,
Yes.
we believe that it will no longer be a headache.
Right.
Because the government, for example, when it is giving, let's say, the approvals, the government is encouraging. You find
Yes.
that private players, even getting an approval, it is a headache. You have to fight to get an approval. For you to get a subdivision for the land,
Right.
you have to fight. You have to fight so many things.
So when you say fight, who are you fighting? Are you are you fighting the county government? Are you fighting the Ministry of Lands? Are you fighting the owners of the land? Who?
When I say fight,
Yes.
does not become, it's not easy. It's not something that is automatic.
Right.
Like, for example, we Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, for example, let's say we want to develop a certain project that is focusing on, let's say, 100 units, and you want to do the subdivisions, and you want to get the approvals. You find that for you to get that, it's not something that is comes very easy. It's not automatic. You will go to the county government.
Right.
You are told this is what you should do here. You are encouraged, yeah, because you know you are doing some. It's like I look at the real estate sector just the same way we look at schools, the same way we look at hospitals,
Right.
the same way you look at let's say, for example, schools and hospitals. You see private hospitals and private schools, they are treated just the same way public hospitals are treated. With there's that support of the government. But you find the real estate sector, especially the private players,
Yes.
there's no that support by the government. It's like it's like an illegal business, so to speak.
Yes.
You find it is taken as if it's somewhere to get easy money, and the service that you are offering is service that is so crucial. It is just like a hospital. You are taking care of somebody's life, and also now we are taking care of somebody's livelihood and way of living.
Yes.
Somebody who has children, somebody who needs to have that mind, that settled mind to work, to avoid the stress of rent. So it is something crucial which the government is trying to do. And I believe if that continues, and the private sector, the private sphere is also protected, because the government can't do it alone. You can't say that you are going to leave affordable housing now to the government to play it now, and the private developers to get off. What we need to do is to support the private developers, as the government also does it.
I have a question here, because when the government, like, again, going back to the previous government, the Big Four agenda included food security and nutrition, universal health care, affordable housing, and manufacturing. So once they say all this, I'm sure the government is a stakeholder, but even you as a private developer, as a private businessman, you're also a stakeholder. Me as a prospective customer, client, and buyer of land is a stakeholder. So I feel like sometimes we blame the government so much that on our end it's like we have no blemish at all. I don't know if you get that kind of vibe as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. And the work of the government basically is to provide an enabling environment. It is actually not the role of the government to come and do the construction.
Right.
And the reason why I think the government is taking the initiative to even do it itself is because of the backlog and the deficit that we have. But ideally, the government should be there to provide an enabling environment only, and ensure that if it is private developers who are doing it, they are doing it within the confines of a certain set rules that are there. That, for example, this is a consumer that we want to enable get a home, the government ensures that that customer does not lose money.
Right.
Because in the previous years we have seen people taking money to invest, private developers, and the money disappears.
Yeah.
So the government, what it should do
Yes.
ideally is to provide a conducive environment.
All right.
What I can encourage the government to focus maybe more is on the issue of like the slum upgrading, which is something that has been started.
Right.
Social housing, which is something that has been started, at least also to fill that deficit and to help many people who are living in deplorable conditions.
Yes.
But at the same time, give the private developers the enabling environment, conducive environment, set clear rules, rules and regulations. Let us have laws and regulations that are regulating the private developers. Let them be encouraged. Let more people get on board with the support of the government.
Okay.
And by so doing, we are going to beat that deficit that is there.
Okay.
But if the government now comes and overlooks the private developers, and there is now one huge the government doing everything,
Yes.
and we the people, there will be resistance. That is
Okay.
something that I can assure you, because at the end of the day, you will not even force the consumer to come and there was a bill that had been taken to the parliament that every person that is working, a certain percentage is deducted and goes to the housing, but it was people are very hesitant.
Are you talking about the 1.5% tax?
Yeah, the 1.5% tax. It was rejected, and this is because it was not very clear. You are being deducted 1.5%.
Yes.
For sure, it is small money for a person, but wholesomely, it's a lot of money. Now, the question is, this 1.5%, when and how am I going to get that house? How sure am I that I'm going to get that house? There was a lot of ambiguity.
Yes.
So what the government needs to do is to come up with clear regulations and let actually people be the one running.
Okay.
Let the government come up with the policies and the regulations, especially for the private developers.
Right.
Then it takes the role of the government, which is to oversight.
I will come to the 1.5% tax in a short while, but there's something you've mentioned about the slum upgrading.
Sure.
We saw something similar at Kibra, where manyumba zilijengwa on the other side of the bypass, and they wanted to transfer people there, but there was also a lot of confusion in that particular process. People that were supposed to be given those houses ended up, I don't know, selling them or renting them out. Then they went back to the slums.
Sure.
Do we also have a problem as a people?
Sure.
When we are trying to be helped, or when someone is actually helping us and gives us that olive branch so that we can have a conversation, we mess up the whole conversation. I don't know your perspective on that particular issue.
Thank you very much. This is an issue of demand and supply. And you will find that somebody who is in the slum, and you have given them a very good house, and it's actually a matter of economics. You have given me a very good house.
Yes.
That house, if I can rent it out or let it out to somebody, I can fetch 3 or 4 times the amount of money that I pay for rent. You have given me a 1-bedroom house.
Yes.
And this house, you are charging me 5,000, like it was announced, 5,000 or 5,000 or 6,000. That house, I can be able to get a customer who will pay me 20,000. It only makes sense for me to let it out and go sublet another place cheaply.
Go back to the slum.
Go back to the slum.
Yeah.
For sure, we need. That's why I'm saying we need the private developers being the one that are at the forefront, and the government coming to do the oversight.
Okay.
And again, we know the issue of corruption with Kenya, which is something the government needs to tackle. Those houses, again, were not actually given to the legitimate people who are living in the slums. You find somebody brings a relative from the rural area, and give them the house, and that person, for sure, they may not even have a job. So it only makes sense as a human being. This is a house. I'm sleeping hungry, but I have a house that I can make use of and get
money out of it.
And because I'm a landlord, I'm getting money. Then from the money I get above, I can use it as food.
Yes.
So the government, what it needs to do, don't come and bring something blanket. Let us.
So the problem with that is that there might have been no conversation whatsoever with the stakeholders?
Yeah, there was no conversation. It was just done haphazardly. We need to involve the people.
Okay.
If the people own the process will be seamless.
Okay. 1.5% tax
Sure.
on an economy and people that are already heavily taxed.
Sure.
People are broke.
Yeah.
People can hardly afford fuel right now.
Sure.
And that is now.
Yeah.
We know how it was also a couple of months ago, and probably I think a year or two ago when that 1.5% tax was proposed.
Yeah.
People are currently hungry. They have other issues. They are grappling with a pandemic. They are grappling with things like HIV and AIDS and so on and so forth. Is this the right time to bring a 1.5% tax on such an economy that is suffering? People lost their jobs actually because of the pandemic. Businesses had to be shut down because of the pandemic. Should we be talking about more taxation, really?
Yeah, thank you very much. You will be surprised that the issue is not the 1.5%. The issue is not the increment that is being proposed for the NHIF, NSSF, increasing the contribution. That is not the problem. The problem is, how is the money going to be used?
Okay.
How am I going to benefit? Yes, I have been deducted 1.5. I have been deducted more NSSF. I have been deducted more NHIF. But how is that money ending up being used?
Yeah.
Because you find that we have had a problem as a country of corruption. And you find that, for example, the 1.5%, many people would be willing and ready to be deducted that 1.5%. But at which age or when am I expecting to get that house? From 1.5%, my 1.5%, when do I expect to get my home? Yeah, you find that that is a question that people are asking.
Yes.
What we need to do is involve the people, engage the people. For one, we need to have accountability.
All right.
Especially with our public institutions. We need transparency. If people can be deducted that money, and the money is well accounted for, people are able to see the value.
Yes.
For sure, you'll be surprised that almost everybody, including people who are in the Juakali sector, everybody will be ready and willing to
pay that
contribute.
tax.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, involve the masses.
Yeah.
Let us understand clearly. If it is 1.5, you feel it is sufficient? Sure. Okay.
And I can see where it's going. And
Where
at the
is
end
it
of the day, it's
going?
benefiting
Yes.
me.
How and when? Because again, I do not. I know I'll be young and I'll be able to be working for such and such time. So you are deducting my 1.5% of my income.
To what end?
Yes. To what end? Until when?
All right.
Yeah? Sure.
We want to take a short break, but before we do that, let me just remind you a question of the day so that when we come back, of course, sample some of your feedback. Do you have that question, madam? Okay. Do you have faith in the new government on improving professionalism within the real estate sector? Do you have faith in the new government on improving professionalism within the real estate sector? Of course, we're also looking forward to your feedback in regards to your experience within the real estate sector. Do you have confidence yourself when you're walking into that Mizizi Homes, for example, and you want to buy that piece of land? Do you have confidence? Or are you saying zile za, hey, Kenya kununua shamba hii, unless unajuana? We'll be right back.
Now, on the Money and Finance segment, Mbuvi will be discussing navigating the property business in the new regime with special guests George Mburu, CEO Mzizi Homes, a representative from Mivida Homes, and the MD of Imara Land. Next, be inspired with praise and worship gospel music with Bible quotes from your favorite show, Inuka. And later, Mchipuko.